So this is it, alpha 1.9 or 0.1.9. Hey, Ruff. Loud and clear. Oh, right, on YouTube.
There you go. So I've turned on. Hopefully you can hear my voice now. Bug tracker. Ooh. Wee bit quiet, am I? Hang on, see if I can turn my mic up on here. Is that any better?
Yep.
Yeah? Yeah, it always seems to be on stream. End up being a bit quiet. Right, okay. So let's give this a play test.
Amy, this is Sheriff Sen of the Eden Nadir Police Department. Please be aware that I am monitoring you via the START system on your wrist and am able to view your vitals and location. I know you're probably disoriented, but you need to find your way to a safe place. I can explain more when you're there. North of your position, you will find Hamilton Fishing Village. But be aware that the infection is present on our island and you may encounter hostiles, so you will need to prepare yourself. The rigid inflatable
Maybe I'll
boat
find
you came
something
in
useful.
on belongs to the La Crest Mercs. Check it for weapons.
Let's see.
The entire west side of Eden Nadir is empty. Anyone who wasn't killed is currently in the east side safe zone behind the wall, and I don't know if we're ever coming back. So you might as well take whatever you need from the houses.
So far, performance feeling good. Yeah, we had quite a huge problems with performance last patch.
We're actually pretty close to my house. I lived in Hamilton. I'll have my colleague activate your star system map function and put the location on there for you. Head over to my place. You should be able to find something useful.
Yeah, it was due to the engine upgrade that we did for last patch, and there was I was talking to Northar about this in the last meeting, and because whenever there's an error or something wrong within the game, it writes to a log, so then you can actually use that log to report or whatever. And if it's spamming the log, it causes huge performance issues.
Looks so pretty during the daytime, especially.
Yeah. Well, I've actually extended the day now. Daytime now actually lasts for 20 minutes. Because yeah, nighttime we still need to really improve on the way things look, lighting and stuff. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the way this is feeling at the moment.
Me too.
Are you playing it as well, Demented?
No, just watching you at the moment.
Oh, are you? Who was it that said me
Mine is
too?
yours, I guess. Have a look around.
Oh, that was me. My
Oh.
my voice did
There's a gun
choke up a
locker
bit
in
there.
my basement, but you'll need the key. Unfortunately, back when the infection hit, I was in a traffic
Yeah, I've been
accident.
drinking plenty of water.
I woke
Should
up
be
in the
probably
back
should
of
be
an
drinking tea though.
ambulance with nothing. So the key for the gun locker
It's
should
much
still
sweeter.
be in the car rack. I'll put the approximate location of the car in your starve system. If you can get to it, you can take my guns.
Take your guns. So you probably notice that.
This is Sheriff Sen's house.
Yeah. You can't get in this door anymore unless you've got the key. But there's some nice goodies in there.
Oh, nice, because he's got missions implement.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be interacting with Sheriff Sen over the mic more.
Over the radio, yeah. Well, Joe was actually saying that the way things are going to pan out is that Sen will probably be one of the first NPCs you actually meet in the game properly, which is pretty quite interesting.
Nice.
Will it notify you if that door's unlockable? So, or will there always be there? It can be entered.
What do you mean if it's?
So you walked up to that door, and obviously you couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
But there was no indication as to whether you could actually unlock it or not.
Yeah, what I need to do really, because we were just more interested in getting the actual quest and objective system in place. Basically what I need to do is when you try and open it, it comes up with a notification on the right hand side saying this door is locked, you're going to need a key to open it, kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
And we might end up having sort of like, you'll also be able to, what's that head doing? Be able to pick lock doors soon as well. But the way we're sort of like going forward, we want to start getting it in so some of the story can start being added, some of the lore to the world as well. So because at the moment the majority of stuff you can do is actually just explore, like you said. That, so we want to make it so that you'll be able to follow story and stuff, because the next, sorry, can't shoot and talk. Die, woman. Thank you.
It's funny because you can't tell if he's saying can't shoot and talk or can't shoot at all.
Saying nothing.
God, look at that gorgeous water.
Yeah, the water looks a lot better. The way the shaders are in 421 is it's just the screen space reflections and stuff like that. It's quite nice. Sen's car. There's the key.
Good. I can see you're at the crash site. Assuming you've found the key, you should be able to get the guns from my basement.
See, we're going to put a lot of more effort into the swimming at the moment. At the moment, the swimming that's in is just really basic. Everything that's in it is really basic. We just want to get basics in that we can build upon and improve upon. Like we've got so when you jump off the top of cliffs and stuff like that, that the character will end up diving in, depending on your height and experience and stuff like that. But yeah, so much more. But the next enemy NPCs to come in will be sort of like within the first few patches of the public alpha. And that's when we introduce, and I'm making this a priority, we're introducing the mercs and the military.
Yeah, bring those guys back from the prototype.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but the way we wanted the visa, because they're ready to go in now. They were ready to go in at the beginning of the private alpha, but we didn't put them in because we wanted them to use the same weapon system as the protagonists are using. So then you can actually take their weapons, their attachments, and stuff like that as well. And Scrubs introduced a whole new cover system, so they'll actually take cover behind walls and they'll plan routes to you and stuff like that. So just wanted to get that all finalised before we actually... Oh yeah! They're both dead.
I need to eat.
Oh shit, you're right. So if anyone's got any questions, I'm not really looking at graphics is bad and animation is bad. Oh, it's you again, is it? Welcome, King's player. Made a nice comment on one of our videos.
If you're gonna survive, you'll need to be able to knock up a quick shelter in case you get stuck out in the open for a while. Tom's Hardware in Hamilton should have everything you need. Head on down and see what you can find.
Well, since you asked for questions,
Yeah, go for it.
all right. So I will throw the disclaimer out there that I didn't look. I did look at the roadmap a little bit, but I didn't look at like any forums. I didn't look at like anything that's really been said. So some of this may be answered, some of it may not be. So are you gonna have like if it's single player? Obviously, are you gonna do something for like console commands like Fallout 4 or did or like Ark did, where you can, you know, play with the weather, play with the night and day, add stuff in, or is it all just going to kind of be set to, like to the way that you guys do it?
At the moment, while it's single player, it will just be set to how we do it. As soon as we introduce cooperative, then you'll be able to set things up how you like to set them up. Which will be like a host in your own local server, basically. And the same thing will carry across to when dedicated servers happen. For the dedicated multiplayer, 30 to 50 players, if you run a community server rented by GTX Gaming or anyone like that, then you'll be able to set things up how you want. So you'll be able to set the time of day, how often the weathers. You'll be able to disable snow if you don't want it to get so cold all the time. And we're also talking about adding like a hardcore mode as well. So it affects you a lot more and stuff. But that'll be all sort of like further down the line once we get to the cooperative stages. But yeah, at the moment we just basically want to build what the game will be and then build upon it and allow the community to give us their ideas of how they want to be able to modify the game vanilla before and then once it's got to that point, we'll then start allowing for mod support as well.
for mods, are you gonna do something like Nexus mods, like Fallout and
Yes.
Okay. Are you gonna have a list of like Vermintide does this thing? And I'm not trying to compare you guys to other games. I'm just saying like what I've seen other games do. Like Vermintide has a thing where on Steam they only allow like approved mods. Are you guys gonna have something like that, or is it just gonna be like if you can make a mod for the game, it's gonna be allowed?
Do you know, because it's so far off, I don't really know at this moment. I would like to say that anyone would be able to make a mod, but the thing is, I love mods that, like, I've run Ark servers and that, and Rust servers, and I used to make mods for Ark and Rust. That's what I ended up making Jaws of Extinction for. But the thing is, I feel sometimes it changes the way the game feels too much sometimes, but I should imagine we probably will just go down the sort of route of the Steam Workshop thing. Anyone that can, we end up making like having a chat with Epic and seeing if we can make sort of like a mod or dev kit and stuff like that. But it's so far off at the moment. We haven't really discussed it as a team. We're just more sort of like enthusiastic and to actually get the game where we want it before we start worrying about stuff like that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. That was because I know that some people, like some companies, are real anti-mod now because of some of the goofy stuff that's out there. I've used Nexus and I do the Steam Workshop, so I didn't know like if you were gonna have like a preference or like something against one or the other, or you know, however you guys were gonna do it. But yeah, I can understand why that's a long way off.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it is further down the line. See.
So as far as stuff like in-game, like collecting like cloth, you know, resources, stuff like that, how are you gonna let the stuff like stack up high, or is it gonna be like one in a box? And do you think it's your decision, do you think it would affect server stability as far as how high stuff can stack? Because that's what some companies claim, and I didn't know like if that was an issue for you guys.
Like with containers?
Yeah, like inside of a container, like if you have like, just say like you had rubber, is it going to be like, could it stack to 1, stack to 5, stack to 20? Or, and does that decision, could it affect server stability depending how high it gets?
No,
if it gets too high.
At the end of the day, when it's in your inventory, it is literally just a number. It's just that will never affect the stability or performance of the game. You could have things stacked to 1,000, which we did at one point. It was
take a look around and see what tools you can find.
It was breaking the game a little bit because we were putting more in your inventory than the actual max stack sizes. So, but yeah, the amount containers will stack to and stuff like that. But the reason is the cupboards at the moment only allow so many is purely because we're testing it, and then we'll keep increasing it and see how much you can add to it. Because at the moment you could put in.
You'll need to be choosy about what you bring with you. Only take what you need. You may want to leave a few things if your backpack is getting full.
There's no limit on the size of things you can put in cupboards at the moment as well, which will end up being a thing. But that's why we then, once we start introducing weight as well, we'll start introducing, can you fit this in your backpack? And if you can't, then what you'll have to do is maneuver it some way. So, say for instance this generator here, then you'd actually have to move that to a truck. You're not going to be able to walk down the street with it, kind of thing. Or you might be, because it's got wheels. We don't know, but that's the way we want things. But we don't want to make it stupid to the point, I don't want to start bringing up other games or anything, but
Yeah.
there is some other games that have gone a bit too far with how things are done. We want to make it realistic but enjoyable.
Most of the towns are too
Oh, yeah.
dangerous to enter unless you know how to handle your.
Yeah, I don't I don't want to compare you to other games, but I'm just using it as like a point of reference, like something to compare it to, but not like compare it to, if you know what I mean.
On the east bank of Garnet
Yeah,
Lake.
makes sense.
Me and the family spent a lot of summers out there. You could set up a base there and then make runs into town if you need supplies.
So about collision,
When you're ready, head out that way. I marked it on your map.
is there an issue right now with like zombies? Okay, not zombies. If infected, if you have say there's a pack of 5 of them and you run into a building, is there a chance that they could like go through the wall, or is the collision like pretty? Like, have you guys had a problem with collision at all? You know what I'm asking? So they can't hit you through a wall, and vice versa.
Yeah, they can hit you through a wall at the moment, but that's just until.
While you're on the move, I'll explain your
they just need to be a bit
while you were being held at the prison.
reworked a bit more. So as the scrub works on them a lot more, then
use them on all their
then you know that will sort of encounter things like that, because we want them to start bashing down doors and stuff like that.
You're not the only one on the island.
I also like to add to that. So far, we haven't really seen them walk through walls. But like Ryan said, you know, they either like kind of scratch through the walls, as well as I think we've had players report them spawning inside buildings sometimes. But that's
monitoring, helpful apps. They're pretty useful in some ways.
And to touch on the storage thing, are the bags in like your cabinets, are they going to be expandable base, like just on finding a bag or pattern in the world? Or did you guys think about maybe doing it through like level, like having more space at level 2 versus level 30, or finding like an advanced pattern in the world for like a bag or a cabinet?
Yeah, it will be down to items, like you said, different style of backpack, or a different cabinet. Like the next type of cabinet that we're putting in are actually shelves, which will be a lot taller. They'll stand the height of like a wall in your base and that, and you'll be able to put twice as much in it than you would just a cabinet and a drawer. So it will be all dependent on what you actually build or where or anything like that, what you'll be able to think. So what we're going to have is your inventory. Let me just get to a safer place and I'll explain. Why are you in the ground? You shouldn't be in the ground, you naughty girl. Let me just go up here.
yeah, that's another one.
Yes, well, we're Scrum and I
from the question earlier.
Yeah, Scrub and I were talking about that earlier anyway. It's all to do with how they're spawning, and the spawn system needs to be reworked a bit. Let's just stand here a minute. Right, so how the inventory works at the moment is you've got a... I'll just let the stream catch up with it. You've got a allotted amount of slots. So what that's going to be is... This is going to be sort of like near enough infinite in a way, that once you you'll only have so much to scroll, but then once you get to a certain point, that'll then automatically give you more slots. It'll all be based on the weight, and then dependent on the type of backpack or rucksack you've got on, or any side pouches or ammo pouches or anything like utility belts or anything like that, will allow you to carry extra weight. Because being ex-military myself, I know that you can wear like a 30-litre Bergen, and because it's all strapped around your chest and stuff like that, something that you'd struggle getting on your back yourself, you could walk for miles with it because of the way it's positioned on your back. So it allows you to carry more weight depending on you know, the different tiers of backpack and stuff like that. So it'll work very similar with the type of structures you make to store stuff. So shelving units, cupboards, wall cupboards, and stuff like that. And also we're talking about doing sort of like stashes that you can bury and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how we're gonna go sort of like with storing stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and read a question from Bilbo Lagan, who, by the way, I think has like the best avatar of the year. What's up, guy? Well, he asks, do you plan to add something like dungeons or bosses? And I wonder if this would be a good time to bring up the special infected.
Yes. So yeah, that's definitely like Northfire said. We're going to be having special infected, and there's going to be like half a different species, half a dozen different species of special infected that will roam the world, as well as your encounter in certain situations. With the dungeons and stuff like that, we're going to have bunkers, caves, mines, and all places like that you'll be able to explore, and you'll encounter different types of enemy down there. Some might be overrun with infected, some may be totally being held by military. So the kind of enemies will vary. Like I was saying earlier on, that the next enemy AI that we plan on adding are actually military and mercenary AI, adding them back in, so very similar to what they were in the prototype. But yeah, we get one of the first special infected that you encounter was actually named by the community. A competition we run called the Rika, and all the special infected as well will have backstories for them. Joe and Paul have all created backstories for all the characters and all the enemy and stuff like that. But the Rika is ex-military that was hired by Thanatos Pharmaceuticals that actually was sent to, like...
Now that you're relatively safe, it seems like a good time for some bushcraft training. I can teach you how to craft your own bandages if you gather some natural plant fibers from the bushes. Look around and see if you can find some.
So, yeah, what they'll... they were hired by Thanatos Pharmaceuticals to do their clean-up jobs and that, so they were sent to sort of like torch places and get rid of stuff that Thanatos don't want to sort of be available to everyone, kind of thing. An accident happened, and they were in like an explosion and stuff like that, and with a lot of chemical gases and stuff. So what they'll do is the Rika will walk around very burnt and tethered, and they'll give off an odor, and this odor will attract other infected and that they'll sort of like, so when the Rika wanders around, they'll develop a horde. So actually fighting the Rika themselves is they don't run after you or anything like that like the other infected do, but they'll, in a way, you can't get close to them, because if you did get too close to them, they'll burn your eyes and you'll start to cough, and so you won't be able to get close to them. You can only take them out from a distance. But if you don't get rid of them quick, they'll develop a horde, which will means that just lots and lots of infected will be around near them and stuff like that. So that's one of the first bosses we're adding, and yeah, there's about another 5. And we may even add more as we sort of like come on.
Wow, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna. I also have another question for King's X player.
Right.
He asks, in Jaws of Extinction, will we be able to farm food and breed animals for food?
Yes, you'll be able to. We haven't spoke about breeding animals. We spoke we're planning on doing taming animals, so you'll be able to tame horses and wolves and dogs and stuff like that. But farming is very much going to be a thing. You're going to be able to go to by just harvesting from bushes and other sort of plants and crops around the area. You'll be able to eventually get seeds from, and we've already got farm plots in the game, and you'll be able to craft farm plots. I think we've actually disabled. If I ran to let me just finish this.
Chickens and piggies will be as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
it looks
yeah,
like you
the
have
farmlands.
everything you need for now. You're gonna have to survive out there on your own, but not forever. It's not just me looking.
I mean, this is
out
all
for you.
stuff that's like
Group of us
way
building
further down the road,
resistance.
but you know, more or
What's
less,
going
they're
on
on
in
it.
the safe zones at the moment? They were set up by
Or
the
not onto
military,
it.
but things aren't going very well. With no communication from central government, some of the soldiers have started acting like dictators, and it was chaos when people were moved east from their homes. Anyone who showed signs of infection was taken away, and there hasn't been any communication from them since. We've had enough. You won't be allowed into safe zones. Soldiers will probably shoot you on sight. Try and survive for now, and if everything goes according to plan, well, we'll see. Just stay safe, Amy. I'll be in contact again, but I have some things I need to take care of, so you may not hear from me for a while. Make sure and keep your radio on this frequency, just in case.
Right, now stop talking, I can carry on talking. Yeah, so farming is definitely going to be a thing. Planting your own crops, and then looking after the crops by watering and oh, it's the bridge. Watering and making sure, and we've got composters as well, so you'll have to make your own compost from animal manure and fruit and veg and leaves and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely farming is going to be a thing. I don't know, with where it comes to taming, not taming, sorry, breeding. I don't know. It's, you know, I'm happy to say I'm not too sure at the moment. We haven't discussed breeding. Only
Right, to work out the details.
Yeah, only taming at the moment. But yeah, if that's something that ends up playing in with the game, and it's something that is, you know, looks like it would work well, then, you know, maybe definitely something that we'd do. But where are you coming from?
Okay, for King's X-Player asks me one more question. Will we be able to put a gate around our base, and will you put Big City in the game and console for Jaws?
Put a big city in the game. Yeah, there's going to be the Deer Capital is going to be absolutely massive on scale. To see, it's going to have massive skyscraping buildings that you will be able to go on each floor. I think we planned a maximum of did we say 30 to 40 floors in a building, because we've got a work and lift system that we've put in, that once the power's turned on for a building, you'll be able to use the lifts. We've got I think you've seen some of the buildings we're using for the city, haven't you, Norfar? Like
the current cities we have right now are
tiny.
where Ryan is currently at is called Hannington Fishing Village, and there's another place called Marburg. I always try to pronounce that right, otherwise I end up thinking I'm trying to say Marlboro or something.
It is like Marlborough. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Joe's probably the best one because he came up with the names for it. But there's going to be you've got Hannington, Marlborough or Marburg, which Marlborough is a bit like a large. It's more of a town. So Hunoughton's is a village. Marlborough is a town. There's going to be another town over the north side, near the bridge to the mainland, and then on the far east, the capital of Nadir will take up most of the east side of the island, and that's about, I think it works out to about maybe 6 times bigger than Marlborough. And there's also it's gonna have a complete sewer system, underground sewer system to it as well. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. One thing that we've done here is we try the no build zone. So you can't build anymore. I would come over here for a reason. Why did I come over here? It's because of a question. Please don't put in safe zone. What do you mean by that? Ah! What do you mean by please don't put it in safe zone?
He probably means don't have the major city as a safe zone to build things and stuff.
You won't be able to build in any cities, because we're having 2 types of system in, that you can have as 3 types of system actually. You can you're going to be able to either build your own structure out in the wilderness, or you'll be able to rent or let property inside safe zones that will cost you X amount of bucks per day, or you'll be able to actually get permits to be able to then take over one of the houses in the towns, but you will not if I show you. Let's get the building system back up. So as you can see here, it says there in a no build zone, and most of this town will be. You won't be able to build on any of the roads or anything. Hey, Quay! So yeah, you can't, if you notice it just constantly says you're in a no build zone. Oh, there's a deer. But if I run out into the wilderness,
Well, I hope that answers King X player's question.
oh. I keep thinking,
I believe the map is what, 63 square kilometers, something like.
67.3 or 63.7, one of the 2. I can't remember. Right, so now we're out in the wilderness. It'll allow me to build.
Nice.
But yeah, you won't be able to build at any safe zones or towns, cities, villages. If you want to take over a house, you'll have to get a permit, and you'll have to have the right amount of
Integrity.
integrity as well. Thanks for that. Let's try and get my health and stuff up a bit. Have I got any stones? No. Don't think I have. Let's go by the river Bank. Be able to get some stones. There you go.
Bilbo's got an interesting one. He says, "Would it be?" He says it would be interesting to know. Do you plan to bring back the package or the package upgrade option? I think he's referring to the alpha packages, Bilbo.
Bring back the package upgrade.
Or he might just mean a package upgrade in general. Like, say, if somebody was purchasing the what is it, the public alpha for like $15 to $20, depending on currency, to upgrade to, say, you know, where they can get into the private alpha. Unfortunately, Bilbo, I don't think we have something like that right now. Plus, we are just a week away from public alpha. And I'll let you take it away from here, boss.
Yeah, so public alpha starts next Thursday. So anyone that has actually pre-ordered the game or backed us on Kickstarter or anything like that will actually get their key through next Thursday. Yeah. But yeah, where it comes to upgrades and stuff, we'll probably have maybe some little things to celebrate when we launch on some of the platforms that we're launching on. So we'll be launching on Steam, Robot Cache, and The Abyss. Two of them are actually new platforms that are coming soon, and we're going to be launching on those as well. So we might sort of like have some little packages to celebrate launching on those. But we want to try keep away from doing too much stuff like that, because the only reason that we actually are doing the pre-order system at the moment is because obviously we need to continue development, and we didn't get a huge amount of money like Dead Matter did. We didn't get hundreds of thousands of pounds to help development. We basically got just enough to pay for 4 members of the team to work for 4 months, and then that ran out, and that was having very minimal amount of money. It was just enough to keep us by, kind of thing. So and it allowed us also to get certain things like our motion capture suite, and to pay for licenses for some other stuff and so on. So, but it all depends about the package thing. You know, if you sort of like, if you've got any ideas of the kind of thing you'd like to see, then, you know, it's also always something that we can bring up in our meetings and discuss. And, you know, we like to discuss stuff like that with the community and as well as the team and stuff like that, because it's all about you guys as well. Do you know what I mean? As well as the game.
I'd also like to add on to that. So for all in the community, say if, I don't know, by chance you don't feel like putting it out there in the open, if it make you feel a little more comfortable, feel free to contact myself or any moderator or even developer. You know, I always try to pay attention to these questions if, you know, if it helps people better. And because believe me, it'll help us all better in the long run.
Yeah.
With this project.
Oh, I know one thing I've got to try is the cabinets, because these have been fixed. My scroll.
Yeah, sometimes I tend to get private messages from people looking to put out some ideas that they're not really sure. So what I do is I write them down personally, and I bring them to the dev meetings once a week, and usually I make sure to get their questions back answered, and, you know, things like that. So just putting that out there.
Wonder why these aren't scrolling. We won't place here. Put you down here then. You're joking me. There's the bush. Ah. What are you doing? Yeah, these are still bugs, aren't they? Crap bags.
Can you still
Yeah,
float
Bilbo.
one
Bilbo, I
island
think
above?
Bilbo Lagan. I think we can totally help you with that. Feel free to PM Ryan with that concern, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he can work something out with you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Is there any other questions or anything you want me to look at? These are a bit shaky at the moment.
I was gonna say I got nothing, but if you still have plenty more questions, feel free to fire away.
I had questions about crafting, because like a lot of other games, you start crafting and like depending whatever game it is, that the crafting looks really great and all that business and everything's going great, and then you just start like out leveling stuff. Is that, I don't know how to ask this question, but is everything you craft going to be relevant when you can craft it, or is there just going to be some stuff that you will craft just to be filler, just to re-break down for mats? Like as far as armor, weapons, stuff like that. It just seems like in other games, like leveling goes so fast. And I got a question about the leveling, which kind of adds into that, because a lot of games you level so fast, or you can buy your way up through like in-game credits or whatever. And like sometimes even without doing that, you just out level items so fast that you're going after, you're chasing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Is stuff going to have like a longer life, I guess, is the right question as far as stuff that you craft?
It's going to be very much look, everything like that in the progression of the player and you as and the character and stuff will all depend on how far you push the story. So, for instance, you're not going to be able to start adding armor to vehicles and stuff like that until you maybe meet a certain person, and think of it very much of like how some of the quests play out in The Witcher, or some of the missions play out in Grand Theft Auto, or something like that. That you can't do or get certain things until you've met a certain person or done something similar, or you'll only be able to, and this is the same way as our looting works at the moment, is the fact that the more you level up, the better quality stuff you get. So the more you progress in the game, the more stuff you'll be able to craft, but you're not going to there's going to be a reason for you being able to craft that, rather than you just being able to do everything. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, like crafting stuff just to say, okay, I made one, or to like get different levels. Like say like a machete, like you just level it up because it has different, like 1, 2, 3 stars, but then you wind up just breaking it trying to get mats. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's actually kind of because crafting stuff like having a huge list of craftable stuff and saying like that looks really nice is kind of pointless if it's never actually usable. Like I'd rather have a log of like 10 things that are usable and craftable than 100 that aren't, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's exactly the way we want to go with it. That's why at the moment, the player, even though there is a lot more stuff you can craft in the game, it's there's very little at the moment, and and again, even some of it we're thinking about taking out. Like the when we introduce climbing and vaulting, you're going to be able to climb up the side of cliffs and stuff like that. So you're going to have to learn how to craft better quality rope, or you'll have to go purchase it. And the thing is as well is that everything will end up costing a lot more just to go buy it than it would to actually craft it yourself. You just left.
And as far as the leveling thing, are you gonna? Well, not you, but in the game, is there gonna be a way to like speed up leveling, or is it gonna be done like you just have to go and grind and play? Because I don't mind. I like games that you have to grind because you wind up seeing more of the world. You wind up having to do what the game was intended to do versus just sitting there and farming 17 pigs, every 20 minutes. Is it just going to be grindy, or are you going to have like ways to kind of like cheat the system?
The way we want the whole leveling system to work is basically depending on what you do as a player. So basically, your skills will develop to your play style. So if you choose to sit there and grind out certain things, like, say for instance, you never use a shotgun. You never use a shotgun, and you're level 51 in rifles and 78 in firearms, but you're like level 0 or level 1 in shotgun. If you then want to then progress your shotgun stuff, if you just continue to start using a shotgun, then you'll progress in the shotgun. And it's basically the way we want it to work is to develop as you develop to your play style. So you I wouldn't say you'll be able to cheat the system, so it wouldn't work in the fact that like playing Ark, if you wanted to get to a certain level, you just sit there and make like 150 hats to be able to get up a level and stuff like that. It's not going to work like that. There's going to have to be variance in what you do, because doing certain things will only give you very small amount of XP, and the more you do that one thing will give you less and less. But the more variety you have in that area of skill, will give you more XP. Do you know what I mean? So basically it learns.
Yeah.
The way we want it to build it, or the way that is being built, is to learn from how you play as a player.
Yeah, so if you use like pistols and that's all you use, you're going to be really good with them. You pick up a shotgun, there's a chance you're going to blow your own head off because you've never actually used it, and you're dumb. Yeah, I totally understand. I like that. That's cool.
Exactly. And say for instance, if you're one that you let your weapons constantly get in such a state that they keep jamming all the time, then you're not going to progress as much to someone as if, well, I've been using this rifle a lot. It needs a clean, rather than just wait until it gets to the point where it's just constantly jamming and stuff like that. If you keep your weapons clean and tidy, then you'll progress in that further than you would if you just let it get to a certain state or be forced to clean it before you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. That's really cool. Like that's like micromanaging, but that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, even though we're a survival game, we don't want to end up calling Jaws of Extinction a survival game. It's more going to be a RPG MMO survival. So not a full-out survival game like Rust or Ark, but it's because I've always said I want to go more down the Fallout and Witcher 3 sort, or the Witcher sort of style of game, um, and have a thriving world like that, but with other players in it as well. Yeah, Twisted. Will durability happen to weapons? Yes. Yes, but we're not having weapons break. They'll get to a certain point where you'll be able to start breaking them down and replacing certain parts in them. For instance, if the trigger starts getting a bit sloppy on the weapon or something like that, then you'll be able to either scavenge or even go to your local trader and purchase a new trigger for your favourite rifle or something like that. But they won't break and then you have to sit there and repair the whole thing. It's basically, well, I suppose they'll still work, but they'll just jam a lot more and they won't be as accurate or something like that. So keeping up on top of your maintenance of your weapons and stuff like that, like I said, as well as progressing your character, will actually your weapons will last a lot longer.
Just jumping back, Ryan, to what you were saying about progression a minute ago. On the questing, that's obviously going to be played. How linear is the question? So you're going to have to meet certain to unlock certain acts. Can you meet that person without story?
You're cutting in and out.
Yeah, you've gone really quiet.
Let me try again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the question, is it going to be linear, or are you going to be able to meet these people you need to meet to unlock certain things by not taking the same path every time?
Yes, it won't be linear whatsoever, because the way we're going to end up having it is some people that sometimes you may meet in. Hang on, I'm going the wrong way. Some people that you may sort of like meet in a safe zone one time might not be in that safe zone another time. They might then be out. You might meet them out while you're scavenging, or you might meet them out while they're sort of harvesting resources or stuff like that. It's going to be very much like I don't know if you ever played Red Dead Redemption. It's going to be very much like that, and there's going to be sort of certain people around the world that will end up giving you a line of quests that you'll probably only ever meet if you at certain times or at certain time of the year or something like that. I suppose in a way it does make it a little bit linear, but the way that the stories are being developed and the quests are being developed, that's why we've sort of like started putting them in early. At the moment, it's just it's just a very small tutorial, but you can do it in any time. You don't have to take certain routes or anything like that. It's just like, if you want these weapons, then you're gonna have to unlock the thing. I had a crash, go get the key from my car, kind of thing. And the character even says, in your own time, just head over that way, and I'll show you how to do this, that, and the other. And the thing is, the way as well as if you can see in the top of near the top right of the compass, you've got radio frequency, and you can actually change that frequency. At the moment there's only two, because there's going to be two characters that give you quests to start with, and and what happens is, as you meet people and you start doing quests for them, they'll actually give you their radio frequency, so you'll be able to choose who you want to talk to, who you want to do quests for. You'll also end up being able to call them certain people. If you become friendly with them, you'll be able to call them to help you with certain quests. So they'll join you. So you'll have NPCs actually join you on quests and stuff like that. But yeah, there are going to be some linear parts to thing. I think we said that there's going to be like some areas that are going to be linear. But a lot of the way the quests are going to work, it's going to be true open worlds. You can go around them any way you want.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Have you ever put...
Oh yes, Twisted has another one.
Yep.
He asks, will you ever put like a skill system that tiers for weapons that you can make, repair, or have blueprints, or using a blueprint or XP system?
The way that we're planning on doing weapons is that you'll have to upgrade certain stations to be able to do certain things with weapons. And you'll be able to convert these stations into workshops to be able to do certain things. So, for instance, you'll have one that'll be able to do upgrades for melee weapons. A bit like how, yeah, like a workbench system. But what you have to do is actually the workbench itself will have tiers rather than the weapons. Basically, it will just be once you've got this workbench and you've upgraded it to a certain tier, you'll be able to then get certain unlock certain recipes or blueprints to be able to do certain things with weapons. So you'll be able to make a homebrew site or something like that, or adjust the fire rate of a weapon or something like that with having a weapons bench or something. So you'll be able to modify weapons in a way, a bit like tuning cars in like one of these games where you can like fine tune the gear ratio and stuff like that. You'll be able to do shit like that, but then you'll have the risk of the weapon sort of like backfiring on you and stuff.
I know I might have said something like will be integrated with the crafting system. I could have sworn when we were talking about this, I think like some of the benches you might have to find, like say a medical bench.
You'll be able to find them scattered around the world. You won't be able to actually take them, but you'll be able to. A bit like how 7 Days to Die does in their sort of like some of their traders areas. You've got certain benches and that you can actually use. But yeah, you'll be able.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you can't craft these set or upgrade these benches straight away, you'll be able to go to like your local safe zone and stuff like that and be able to do it. So even though you haven't got the ability to actually craft one of these, you might have the recipes to be able to do it, or use the basic recipes that come with the bench or something like that.
Twisted also asks, can the fall damage be nerfed from low falls? I keep dying from jumping off fences. I believe. Well, no, I know what he's talking about too. I could have sworn they did recently nerf that. How long ago did you play?
Yeah, what was the last patch you did? Because I'm sure.
From my point of view, it's improved, but I still think the full damage is quite harsh from low distances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can agree. I can agree with that.
Well, the thing is with stuff like that, with jumping off fences, and it's ridiculous if you hurt yourself. But one of the things we're going to be implementing as well is that I've found when I'm sort of like running down the side of a hillside or anything like that, if it's too steep, then you'll get full damage. So what we're going to implement instead, and we've actually just recently sorted out the motion capture animations for this, is you're actually going to be able to slide down a bit like Tomb Raider, where you can slide down the side of hills and stuff like that. So the character will sort of like go on its arse and put its leg out, and then you'll be able to sort of like control the slide. But that kind of thing will come into play as your play progresses as well. But that's definitely something that we're talking about implementing around the same time, doing the vaulting and climbing ropes and yeah, stuff like that.
Will vaulting include being able to slide across cars? And
Yes, you'll be able to slide over the bonnets of cars. You'll be able to, rather than get the stupid thing where you keep jumping to get up something, you'll be able to lift yourself up onto things, pull yourself up onto things that are sort of like head height and stuff like that, or run and jump and grab ledges. Rock climbing's going to be put in, diving off cliffs and stuff like that into water, moving objects, moving bookshelves and tables and stuff like that to barricade yourself in buildings. Yeah, these are all things we've got plans putting in. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to putting the vaulting and the sliding in Twisted. Especially when we recently got the animations for it. I was actually showing Northfire last meeting all the new ladder animations and stuff like that, because the ones at the moment are horrendous. So,
I'm still happy we can climb.
yeah.
Yeah, it does look a bit like a gorilla climb ladder.
Yeah, it does. But what was it that we called her? We gave her a name when she climbs at the top of the ladder. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Is it me, or has it been like night time, like near enough the whole time?
Yeah,
No,
I find that a lot.
It's been nighttime mostly.
Hardcore parkour.
That flashlight does look a lot brighter, like it's shining down the path and not just like straight down at the floor. Like,
yeah, yeah, it does. I might get the different weapon out actually.
yeah, right on, Twisted. Hey, Ace.
Here he is, man of the hour. Yeah, the thing is how do you balance the amount of nighttime to daytime? You know, there's just as much night that there is day, and we have actually this patch bumped the night and day up. My footsteps scared me then. Oh, there you are, you bitch! Oh my God! Got no bullets. Run! Oh, fucked. I don't get what your problem is with the graphics, King Power. I really don't.
I was gonna type it out, but yeah, basically, 7 Days to Die uses a voxel engine, which is different than what Joe is using, because Joe is using Unreal Engine 4. Ryan just recently integrated a new patch for Unreal Engine 4, and as we go over development, I know right now nighttime may not look real great as it does during the day, but that is something he's looking to
Improve.
Improve, get that all stretched out so that nighttime looks the way it should. Because even right now, or in earlier patches, you'd probably notice that nighttime kind of looks like it's in low like as if the settings were set to low or something. You know, the trees would look all.
The funniness around the trees is all the post-processing of the fog, because we use post-processing for fog. But that's all this kind of everything's subject to change. Do you know what I mean? It's an alpha game. Everything is subject to change. We could, you know, I've known some people to totally scrap what they've got so far and go onto a different engine and build the game. And do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I personally think the graphics are good between this and 7.
I don't think you can compare 7 Days to
It's not the
Die to
same.
this.
It's just not the same.
Yeah, even before I jumped on this project and got selected to be a moderator, I remember Dead Matter also, like, they were supposed to originally be using some engine. I believe it was Unreal at the time, but they ended up switching to
Switching to CryEngine? I'm sure they're still using Unreal.
the last I checked.
Well, they get using CryEngine now. No fire?
I was like, I can research that over, but I mean, like I said, when I did this at the time, it was before I was even selected to be a moderator, or before I even joined.
Well, Twisted on there, he's a partner of Dead Matter. Do you know if they're using CryEngine or Unreal? I'm sure they were using Unreal Engine. Yeah. They probably started off using CryEngine. CryEngine's, I've heard, it's a bloody nightmare. It's a beautiful engine, absolutely beautiful engine, but yes, I've heard it's a bloody nightmare to program with. Oh, give me some daytime, please. Let's, in fact, let's exit to the main menu and start up a daytime thing, and then give it another sort of 10
We got something from Twisted. Yep, he says they changed from Unreal to something else a while back. That sounds more like what I researched back in the day.
No, they changed.
I'm sorry if I can't remember what correctly.
No, they
that
changed,
to be the case, but the last I checked, that's what
they changed to Unreal from something else a while back.
Oh, you're right. I misread that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, I think the only thing, the thing with the way things look, especially in Unreal and stuff like that, is how high poly your models are, your assets are, and also the lighting. The lighting's everything in the game engine. But it's like Scum. They use Unreal Engine as well. And it actually surprised me to find out that, you know, how good looking a game such as Escape from Tarkov, and they're using Unity engine. I've never seen a game look as good as Escape from Tarkov in a Unity engine. You talking about Dead Matter? You see, I don't. It's King's player stuff. I don't see how you can say this looks.
Amy, this is Sheriff Sen of the Eden Nadir Police Department.
Oh, he's asking us if we like DayZ. I honestly have never really played it. Gosh, what can I say? Man.
Yeah, DayZ's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've played DayZ before?
Yeah, I've played DayZ. I've not played standalone. I've played DayZ on the Armour. It's an Armour mod, but I've never played it standalone. But yeah, that's not a, you know, it's sort of like the the king of all survival games. DayZ is really, isn't it? It's the one of the ones that started it all, really.
Yeah, another thing about Joe, or in case you're curious, before I even came to Joe, originally I've been playing Just Survive, and like ever since I came to Joe, I've just been like becoming much more aware of other games. I've been trying out all the other, zombie MMO titles. My old clan leader from JS bought me a copy of Miscreated, so I've been playing that. 7 Days to Die. Yeah, it's really helping me open up more to see what I may have missed out. I'm sorry if I don't own DayZ, but like I don't have any friends or anybody that's really been asking about it.
Miscreate is a nice looking game as well.
I'll take your word for it too, Kings. Thanks.
Yeah, Miscreating's a nice looking game, but again they're using CryEngine. Majority of games that do use CryEngine do end up be a good looking game. But the thing is, how long's Miscreated been in development? I think they've just come out of.
Like I'm still
early
new, like I'm
access?
still fresh. I'm still fresh to Miscreated, but I could have sworn I heard one of my clan, I guess, who had been around it since its early development. I think they said something to the effect of 2008. I don't know if that's for certain, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it was around that time. Yeah, 2008, 2009. But yeah, they've just come out of early access. I'm sure they have, haven't they?
yeah, they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what they got going on in Miscreated. I think my only gripe, even when I hear other people complains, it's like I feel like if I could break it down, it would almost be like an umbrella, and at the top of that umbrella is limited.
Limited. What do you mean?
For example, you can only craft like two small boxes, or no, 4 small boxes and 2 large boxes. And to get more loot, or to get more loot stashes in general, you have to go around collecting tents and vehicles. So I don't know.
That's
You
changed.
you see a problem with that with a large number of people on a.
I just noticed there's a lot of stuff missing here because I've optimized this docks. It's missing a load of stuff.
Hey Henry, how's it going?
Here he is. All right, Henry.
Glad you can make it, man.
Loads of boost stuff missing. Ah, because of course I removed it all.
Nice one, Twisted. He says even NASA can't get 60 FPS at Arc.
Let's go check this place out up there. I don't know, Ark's a lot better than it used to. I remember first. Oh, great. Shit me.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Kings on the Miscreated with the base building. It does take a lot longer. Yeah, and I totally got friends that are playing Rust and Scum and Arc, and I do own State of Decay. The only thing I didn't like about State of Decay, I guess, was babysitting communities. But other than that, I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant about, when some games take certain elements a bit too far. So it makes a good mechanic.
Right, those extremities.
Yeah, it makes a good mechanic just over the top, and it's just like, well, yeah, this is all fun to start with, but now it's just boring the hell out of me. And that's where you got to get with games and that. You need, it's all about balance at the end of the day. That's why I think the idea that Scum had with the vitals and stuff like that, I thought, brilliant idea, absolutely brilliant. But Christ, did they go over the top with it? It's like, you have to pick a corn out of your crap and convert that into something with this to make a specific vitamin that you need, because otherwise you'll go blind. And it's like, what?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can totally agree with that too. It's just those kind of things that, yeah, those extremities that go overboard.
Yeah. But yeah, some of these games they have, you know, some really amazing ideas. But yeah, it's just don't go over the top of them. As, you know, it's about making something realistic, but making it fun as well. And I'm sorry, I don't personally own Scum.
Well,
but-
Scum is the developers hail from Croatia, and so there's a language barrier for me, you know, right off the bat. So, you know, I can't really be there to, you know, communicate well with or to get feedback. At least. I mean, unless anybody out there that's, you know, had any luck talking in their community or can speak the language, then good for you. But
they've
you know,
gone that route, have they?
that's about the only thing. I think that's probably like one other thing I can't really get me into playing. I have at least a couple of clan members that are telling me good things. So
I'm sorry. I might be biased because this is, you know, game I'm developing, but I can't see how you can say the graphics are like 7 Days to Die. I really can't.
I don't know either.
But hate sprint survival games, just loot and shooters like Daisy and a bit like. Okay, yeah, that's why we said we want to be different.
Right.
And
Okay. Yeah. You know, I'll gladly, I'll gladly open this up. Yeah, survival. Let's just think about that term and how that kept getting somehow applied to, say, your typical battle royale genre. How that happened is beyond me. But I guess in Ryan's way, he would be saying, you know, we'll let him keep the word while we try to develop something else that hopefully won't fall into along the lines of, you know, battle royale or something.
yeah, we're not going to be adding battle royale to this whatsoever. You know, Jaws of Extinction is going to be its own game. It's not going to be like
I need to
miscreated
eat.
and oh for God's sake, stop marrying a woman.
Daisy.
Yeah, and Daisy and stuff like that. It's not going to be like that. It's bringing elements from them type of survival games into games like Fallout and Witcher, Red Dead Redemption, and making it multiplayer. That's what our aim is. Making one of those type of games with elements from survival games that you can play with your friends on dedicated servers.
So we have a co-op listed as 4 players.
Yep. So the way the co-op will work is it's only 4 players because you'll be able, each one of you will be able to play as one of the 4 protagonists that we're releasing. And then when it goes into full dedicated multiplayer, sort of like 30 to 50 players per team, you won't be able to play as one of the protagonists. You'll play as a character that you create in the character creation screen. So you'll be able to give it your own hairstyle, mohicans, and funny glasses and stuff like that. So each person, you know, will be able to be unique as long as, you know, and you know we might even have an auto-generator button if you really want it. But it's not going to be to the point where you're going to be able to be silly like Ark, where you make teeny little legs and massive heads and stuff like that. It's not going to be like that. It's all going to still, you'll have a base model, and you know you'll be able to change specific looks to their face or the color of the skin, the color of the hair, different hairstyles and stuff like that.
Yeah, you'll be able to make them bigger, fatter, muscular, scrawny, however.
Yeah.
Oh, and King's X player, yes, that is definitely something the devs do plan to do is to be able to port to console like the Xbox.
Yeah.
Or I have to say Microsoft or Sony, because we might be coming into another year where they start coming out with new consoles. So that's why I'm not going to say like PS4 or
Yeah.
Xbox One.
We've already been accepted into the ID, so any developers at Xbox. So I should imagine being a PC game will port to Xbox before we port to PlayStation because we haven't completed the license agreements and stuff with Sony. Yep. But yes, we're definitely going to bring the Jaws of Extinction to console. But we'll also make it fully controller supported on PC before we go to console as well. Any other questions?
Yeah. Did you have anything further to add?
Are you going to have like rare crafting mats, like places to go farm it, stuff like that? And I don't know. I don't know if I asked you this before, but like hitting like trees and rocks, are you going to be able to mine and use trees and stuff, or is that just kind of like, are you going away from that?
No, you'll actually, because we're putting actual mines in, so you'll be able to go searching for like rare minerals and stuff like that, and start mining for like sulfur and stuff like that, because we want it to be as expansive as possible. We don't want it's going to be hard to get to the point where you can create your own ammunition for weapons. You'll have to have huge skills in chemistry and metal work and stuff like that before you'll even get to a point to be able to sort of like create your own ammunition and explosives, but you will be able to get to that point. So for that kind of thing, you'll have to be searching for specific chemicals in different places or specific minerals that you can break down into like sulfur and stuff like that. Yeah, does that answer?
Yeah. Have you guys given any thought to like water-based building or stuff, or like water mining, like can you dig into like the earth, and if so, like doing it underwater and like underwater base building, like making like your own island or something like that?
You're going to be able to, you can actually build your in water, I believe. No underwater building as such. Maybe you can't. Not if I moved it. Yeah. But you'll be able to take over oil rigs and stuff like that, but we've got no plans of making underwater submarine bases or anything like that. But yeah, we haven't got any plans. But like I said, anyone with ideas, we're always willing to sort of like talk about them and discuss them. And if they go in with the plans of what we got planned, then we're willing to give anything a go. But as long as it sort of like stays on track with what we've got planned for the game, kind of thing. But yeah, underwater bases, I'm not really sure. It would fit in. I hope that helps.
Oh yeah. And are zombies going to attack animals and vice versa, or are they not going to interact like that?
They already AI already do interact with each other. The infected don't really go after animals. Because in the lore of the game, animals can't be infected. I can't remember why off the top of my head, but we've made it so the animals can't actually be infected. But animals will go after, so a bear will attack infected, and then if an infected is attacked by a bear, then they'll attack the bear back. The bears actually do hunt deer at the moment. So yeah, that is actually in, but because the wildlife is not at a level where you're going to see much of that at the moment. That's probably why people don't know it's there, but yeah, it is there.
And the last question I got for you, and I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this one because it revolves around gameplay. I like to, when I play these kind of games, I like to make kill bases. And what I mean by that is have take like the natural structure like that, those rocks you are in,
Yeah.
and like wall it off and put traps in there.
Yeah.
And I guess the heat map is a question I have, what I'm asking you about. Will zombies spawn based on an area that you're heating up just through movement and this and that? Or does an area heat up based on like if you have forges and fires and all this business going on? Or is it a combination of the two? Because you could attract, like you could just sit there and loot. And I'm not saying that like dumb zombies, or infected, but like infected that are just attracted to heat versus what you're actually doing, like kiting them around and like running them through like your kill bases and stuff.
Yeah. So, but basically, we've got sort of like we haven't hugely discussed this, but what we have discussed, there's two factors here that I can talk with you about. Is we're going to have one boss type infected, the special infected, that will attack bases only, and they won't attack you out in the open. They'll only attack you inside your base, because they want to attack the base and destroy the base. And also how wandering hordes will come about is the amount of movement that goes through certain spawn areas. So if you have lots of people building in a certain area, or a base gets a certain amount of size within a certain area where there's a spawner, and that, because the way bases work at the moment is if you build, say there was a spawner here on this lake and I'm started to build here, now that the spawner's detected that I'm building here, it won't spawn any zombies there, so they don't spawn in your base. But what will happen is the more that you build there will cause that spawn to then spawn in a horde, and that horde will then attack your base and try and destroy it. So that's what where we are at the moment with that. We haven't really discussed it any further than that at the moment. But the way I would like to go with it is I'd like to go based on how much noise and how much pollution and stuff like that so how much attention you attract to yourself or the area you're living in. So it could work. It could work in a fact that even if you haven't built a base out in the wilderness and you're built in, you've taken over a house or a building or a store or something like that, or apartment block or something in a town, the more that you start doing to that, so you'll start making upgrade areas for your vehicles, and you'll start putting defensive walls around and have turrets and stuff like that. So the more, and you have generators going and stuff like that. So the more noise and stuff that you have going on, the more attention that you'll attract to yourself, and that's what will bring in enemy NPCs attacking you. Because you got to remember, you're not just going to have the wanderers that are going to be wandering around. The infected are going to be the least of your problems once you really get into Jaws of Extinction, because you got a military tyranny going on, and they want to take over the island, have complete control of the island. So you're going to have professional armed assassins come in groups of, maybe half a dozen to a dozen, trying to wipe you out and stuff like that, and ambush you on missions and on your way to quests, and you know, you'll interrupt them on their patrols and stuff like that. So you'll have them attacking you as well. If they see that you end up becoming a threat in the area, in the local region, you might then have like the army attack you with blooming all sorts. So won't be just infecteds that you'll have to worry about.
And if a storage case or like box gets destroyed, does it destroy the stuff inside, or do you have a certain amount of time to pick the stuff up before you lose it? Like, you know what I mean?
So yeah, the way we're working with despawn times is because that's one other way we want to go against things. So basically, what will happen as you destroy a box with loot in it, it will spawn a percentage of what was contained in that box as separate items or separate bags around the area, and things won't actually despawn. It's going to be like, it has to be a whole in-game day. So before that'll actually despawn. So say for instance that happens at 8 o'clock at night one evening in game, and then it wouldn't wait until 8 o'clock the following night. It would wait until it passes midnight the following day. So it allows a complete cycle of the daytime before, because you'll probably see if I go back to the town where I've killed zombies at the moment, their loot bags will still be there.
Okay.
So loot does despawn, but you know, it's got like quite a long despawn rate on it. Same as the way as foliage and that regrows. It regrows after so many in-game days. So if you live a simple life, you live an industrial life, the harder life. I like the thing, especially for... Yeah. So you can, you know, build up a massive, what do they call it in Rust, where you get lots and lots of players to, I can't remember, they got a name for it now, haven't they? But if you end up becoming that and become like a massive thing on the server, then you're going to have more happen to you than you are if you're just a small team of 3 or 4 of you with a small little base out in the middle of the sticks, and you pop into town every now and again to get your scavenge for loot and stuff like that, and visit the safe zones every now and again. So you'll play a completely different game as if you end up going big and taking over like a warehouse or something like that, and having maybe 10 or 15 players in there. But we were talking about being able to make your own safe zones at some point. But that's further down the line. It's always bloody raining in the night time. But I think I'm going to have to call it guys. I've been going nearly 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
But if will there be any special recipes that can be found throughout the world? Yes, there will be certain things that you'll be able to find that will add recipes, and you'll also be able to learn certain recipes from certain NPCs around the world. You might come across like a travelling salesman with a horse and cart or something like that, and you might be able to purchase certain recipes from him or her. Just wondering if I can... There you go. I've made you a moderator, Norfa.
Oh, right on.
So you should be able to post the
Thanks.
links now.
Well, that's it. That's it. It's been fun. Thank you everybody so much for coming out here tonight. Especially to all the partners and streamers that I'm kind of seeing familiar faces, as well as the community. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming out here tonight with all your questions. This is awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, and I look forward to hearing more from you guys, as well as feedback for the developers.
Yeah,
so
make sure you all join our Discord if you're not already there. Come in, you know, we sort of like talking in there like nearly every day. And yeah, I look forward to seeing once you've all actually get your keys. Any one of you that haven't actually played yet, you should all get all your keys by the 28th, next Thursday. But it'd be nice to sort of like, you know, for you to jump in the Discord and give us any feedback, good or bad. You know, we're waiting to, as long as it's constructive and we can do something about it to improve, then, you know what, I welcome it. I welcome negative feedback, but yeah. So yeah, I'll see you all later.
there's a link for our Discord.
Wicked. I'd like to thank the guys that have been in the chat with me as well, and for Northar for helping me out with questions and stuff.
Always a pleasure, everyone. Thank you.
We'll see you all later. Now I've got to remember how to get stop.